hi, hooded guys. I can't wait to put a hood on me. Can I be introduced to some of you?
I am Dave the Bandit.
Eh?
And I am Billy Walrus. I used to lead this group, but after seeing your evil deeds, I'm pretty sure you will make a really great candidate.
And I am the criticizer.
Hello, JR!
Ah! Nitsa, what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? What are you doing here?
Oh, I joined this evil group months ago. Thought they could use a guy on the opposite side of the planet, then, you know, make some part-time money.
Okay, just hold on. Throughout what JR said, did I hear the word evil in there?
Indeed, with you on our side, we will be unstoppable. At least when it comes to intervening buildings. We still need to find a fruit thief.
What would Tails do in this situation?
Yeah, well, this is a little embarrassing, but I'm not evil.
Oh yeah, I've done a lot of evil things. Hey guys, Nitsa Gamer here. I don't think these guys have ever heard of sugar. This is black coffee that I'm having. Alright, hopefully no one disturbs me during this vlog, so let's get started on talking about episode 16, How to Succeed in Evil Without Really Trying. So the episode starts off where we have Styx picking some sort of berries. I forget what they called them.
I see you're making beige berry pie.
Well, whatever those berries are, they don't even look good. And of course you got Styx being her paranoid self, and then you have Tails who is on her end to help. And since he's the inventor, of course his inventions are gonna go whack when he has Sonic using his speed, or using the propeller bike that he used back in episode 7, Double Doomsday. Which, by the way, you will be seeing elements of Double Doomsday within this episode. So if you haven't watched that episode, then go back, watch that episode, and then watch this episode. Which begs the question, why the heck you're watching the episodes out of order, but that's off the point anyway. So yeah, Tails' invention goes whack, and it actually cuts down all the trees within the orchard, and of course Styx gets pretty pissed off, so she has Tails planted the seeds. But it turns out one of those trees that were there is actually some guy who actually works for this organization called the Lightening Bolt Society. And the Lightning Bolt Society is a group of evil villains, or evil villain wannabes, who were inspired by Dr. Eggman, or just criminals of their own. And yeah, if you look at the 3 members of the group, you might actually recognize them through their voices. And yeah, these are actual villains that we have seen in the previous episodes, so yeah, we will get revealed on who they are later on. So they invite Tails to the Lightning Bolt Society, for some reason he doesn't even know how to open up a letter, since he knows what a letter is. I mean, Styx is kind of understandable since she had no idea what the heck an envelope is back in episode 5, but anyway. So they invite Tails to the Lightning Bolt Society because they misjudge that him destroying the orchard is actually him doing evil deeds. But of course, Tails, who doesn't recognize for the fact that these guys are actually evil, of course he goes to their party not recognizing that they're evil. And there we get to see Dave the Intern, who we haven't seen since actually the last episode, Aim Low, as a small cameo. But yeah, this is his second big role since his first appearance in Double Doomsday. And then we get Willy Walrus, who was the sub-villain in Dude, Where's My Eggman? And then you also get one of the Weasel Bandits as the third member. And of course the guy in the tree, we never really saw him as a character, aside from being a background character in a couple of episodes. I mean, he's the one that looks like he has the Mario hat. So yeah, when Tails actually realizes that this is actually all an evil society, he of course does the stupid thing by actually admitting,
I'm not evil.
He'll betray us all! That sounds pretty evil to me.
Now I'm just confused.
But yeah, back at the orchard, it turns out Dave the intern has planted a bunch of sesame seeds, which suddenly causes a bunch of purple piranha plants to attack. So yeah, you got Sticks and Knuckles that deal with the piranha plants, where you have Sonic and Amy who go to the Lightning Bolt Society after finding the envelope to try to rescue Tails, and there's arguing between them, which is kind of funny because I kind of don't understand what the hell they're arguing about.
I say we crash through the window.
I say we dress up like pizza delivery guys.
My idea has pizzazz.
My idea has pizza.
Pizzazz!
Pizza!
Pizzazz!
Pizza!
Hey, could you strangers hold this door open while I go?
Not now!
Come on, you were thinking it too. And yeah, Dr. Eggman, like if you're wondering what Dr. Eggman's association is with this group, he has no association. If anything, he calls them dolts because he doesn't want anything to do with them. And of course, you know, they don't really know anything about evil, even though they're trying to be evil. It's just they haven't really topped the successfulness of evilness as much as he does, because they're really being evil without even trying. I mean, that's kind of the title of the episode. And yeah, without giving too much away on what the climax is, Tails does prove himself in the end that, you know, he can actually save Stick's Orchard after his big mistake, but of course he has to go back to planting the seeds again. So yeah, as a whole, this episode, in my opinion, was actually a pretty... Hello?
Hey man, JR here. Half of our men are just inside the Tommy warehouse.
Well, have they managed to get the box yet?
No, not yet, but they're closing in. Dude, can I ask what's inside the box? I mean, why do you need it so much?
Dude, this is top secret. I can't tell you what it is.
Well, it better be worth it for some secret weapon in a toy factory, alright?
Oh, it'll be worth it. Don't worry. It'll be worth it.
Well, it better be. I mean, half of our men have been gunned to death already. In a toy factory. I just realized how dark that sounds.
Oh, trust me. When this is all over, I'm gonna be using these people to my advantage until my evil deeds are done.
You're a dick, you know that. If you know what's good for you, you should just drop the sketch before somebody else gets hurt.
You know, you used to be a cool friend to talk to, but, actually, no, I'm lying when I say that. You are a terrible friend to talk to. Goodbye.
Torture would be too nice of a word. You failed society, you evil person.
I am such a terrible person. Anyway, so yeah, as a whole, this episode, in my opinion, was definitely an above average episode, but just like most people who saw this episode, or at least read the synopsis, didn't really expect it to what it was like before. Like, I think it went under people's expectations. Like, obviously, this was an episode where people thought it was like a group of villains that come together to plan out an evil scheme that, of course, Sonic and his friends ultimately have to stop. But, of course, the idea of having Tails involved because they think he did an evil deed is actually a pretty good idea. But here's the thing, is that out of all the villains that they've added, I actually noticed that there is no T.W. Barker in this episode. Yeah, the main villain from episode 12, Circus of Plunders, is actually not in this episode, which is kind of surprising. But then again, he was more of a villain in his own right. I mean, with Willy Walrus leading like a group seems a little more legit to make sense, considering yeah, we really only seen him for like 2 minutes of screen time from Dude, Where's My Eggman, and that was pretty much it. So it makes sense for him to be the leader of the group, and it definitely makes sense that Dave would be a part of this group since he wants to be an evil villain himself. And yeah, for one of the Weasel Bandits to show up as like the third member of the group, it totally makes sense, considering that, yeah, even though they made a short appearance, one of them has to at least be a part of the society. As a whole, this episode is actually pretty good. It's just there are moments that do kind of undergo expectations, and in many ways, you could argue it as a missed opportunity where, with what they could have gone with, like a villain league or something, but that's not really the idea that they're going with. The idea that they're actually going with is for the fact that there's a group of people that are trying to be evil, but they're not really trying to do, you know, evil things. I mean, what's their best weapon?
Really? That's all you can come up with?
And they don't even add slow motion to it. Yes, I stole that from Sonic's show. Suck it. And yeah, just like some of the previous episodes from Eggheads and Aim Low, there's a lot of great touches here and there between going green, going blue. Between, Styx being paranoid and how she's blaming the tree, and voila, there actually turns out to be a guy in a tree. Yeah, this is definitely one of those episodes that you do have to watch a second time in order to actually catch the stuff that you probably didn't catch before, and that's a pretty clever setup for an episode. So yeah, even though this episode didn't exceed my expectations, it's still a good episode regardless, and it's definitely one episode that I had a hard time thinking of a verdict to give it, but I will definitely say it's above average, and I really don't want to say too much about it, except it's a good episode. So yeah, I think the final verdict of this episode is gonna be, wait a minute, doesn't this area look familiar? I mean, I'm in a totally different building, right? It doesn't matter. Well, anyway, the final verdict for this episode is gonna be a 7 out of 10. Like, I was stuck between a 7 or an 8, and honestly, I think I'm gonna give it a 7, because there are funny moments in the episode and all that, but I think it's about around the same level as Eggheads and Double Doomsday. I mean, it's a good episode, and it's a good idea and all that. But yeah, it definitely didn't exceed the expectations I was hoping for, but at the same time, it wasn't really supposed to. I mean, if it did exceed my expectations where it was a villain leak, it probably would have been an over-ambitious episode, especially with what they have set up in the previous episodes. But yeah, as a whole, it is a good episode, and there's a lot of great things about it, and if I did have to nitpick about anything, I think the only thing I would have to nitpick about would have to be Tails' story arc. I mean, the whole idea of what he goes through is a good idea, but isn't the idea that he fails at the beginning and then he has to, work his way up in the middle and then prove himself that he can actually do the right thing in the end, something that we've actually seen in Sidekick and, of course, Circus of Plunders? I mean, this wasn't written by the same writer, but yeah, it actually has that similar setup. Tails screws up, and he gets bashed on for understandable but complete bullshit reason, and of course, he proves that he can actually do it. Except, I will definitely say, that's only a nitpick, not a negative criticism, as, like, in the first episode, you had Sonic bashing on him, which I think is actually the weakest part of that episode. In Circus of Plunders, you had Amy, Knuckles, and Styx bashing on Tails, and that was the weakest part of that episode. But here, it's a little more understandable as, Styx is protective of her orchard, and yeah, she does have a right to be pissed in this situation, and in a way, Tails proving himself right is really only a minor aspect of this episode. The main focus is, of course, this League of Villains, or not a League of Villains, but these people trying to be evil villains, but of course Dr. Eggman says, "Don't! You guys aren't even evil villains," and all that, and yeah. So yeah, take it for what it's worth. It's a pretty good episode, and alright, oh yes, they got the package. Oh, this is gonna be freaking awesome. Oh, copy.
Time to see what my Cluster Wuster has in store. What the heck? No! Please! No! No! Why? No!
Yeah? I told you this was going according to plan.